Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and Game of Thrones spoilers, and welcome to The Struggle, a news talk show powered by deadly wind turbines, halal chocolate, and Fraser Anning's desperation to become a valid political force. As always, I'm your host, Tavleen. Welcome. This week, we talk Christmas Island, mustics, real Australians, and for something uplifting, death. Well, after achieving the seemingly impossible feat of being more controversial than Pauline Hanson, Senator Fraser Anning has managed to get his own political party together. And it is exactly what you would expect. Yes, the senator has registered the Conservative Nationals, whose website says they work for real Australians and also looks like the worst Tinder profile ever. Senator Anning was originally a member of One Nation and got his seat in the Senate after Malcolm Roberts was found to be a British citizen. Isn't it great that they're making a stand about dishonest people coming to this country? Anning was then booted out of One Nation within literally 1 hour of being sworn in. He then went over and joined the Katter Australia Party for a bit until its founding leader, Bob Katter, slowly began to suspect Anning was a bit racist. Then he was booted from there too. Look, it's actually pretty notable that someone could be too much for Bob Katter.
You know, people are entitled to their sexual proclivities. You know, I mean, let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom as far as I'm concerned. You know, but I ain't spending any time on it because in the meantime, every 3 months, a person is torn to pieces by a crocodile in North Queensland.
Anyone who manages to out-crazy that mess is an interesting case. Despite finding his way into the Senate thanks to just 19 votes, Anning now considers himself popular enough to attract candidates for his new party to stand in almost every seat during this year's election. A pretty impressive feat considering he couldn't even stand in a Moorabbin warehouse without punching a teenager. He even made the very brave decision of definitely ruling out having any white nationalist or alt-right candidates stand for him, which is a totally normal thing to have to do and not at all indicative of his political connections. To try and get a better idea of just who might actually support Fraser Anning, we go live now to our Boomer correspondent, Ian Silverspoon.
Hi Tavleen, good to see you again, gorgeous.
So Ian, why has Fraser Anning started his own political party? Wasn't he just in One Nation? Wait, wasn't he in the Katter Party?
Yeah, well, things move pretty fast in Canberra, Tavleen. You millennials got to keep up. You call us slow. Sure, Senator Anning might have had a pretty bad month, you know. Offended half the world with his comments after Christchurch, got censured by the Senate and got humiliated by a 17-year-old. You know how it is. Sometimes you got to do what you young folk call blocking out the haters. That's what my grandson told me anyway. Look, you know, you got to block out those haters just like Tay-Tay instructed you and start your own political party. Yes, Fraser started his own political party. It's called the Conservative Nationalists. So, finally some conservatives and some nationalists in the Australian political landscape. Man, this guy sure does talk for the people that can't speak for themselves. And luckily enough, Fraser's been saying he's got a groundswell of real Australian supporters, which is lucky for him, because that's exactly the people he's apparently standing up for.
So, what exactly is a real Australian?
You know, real Australians, people that get the culture, people like you and me.
Ian, weren't you born in England?
Yeah? What's your point? Anyway, Fraser is going to have a supporter in every electorate in the lower house in the country, and he's getting the real Australians to do it for him. So I know you guys are excited, and there's plenty of fair dinkum, dinky-die, true blue Aussie battlers out there at home. So let's go talk to some of them now and see how excited they are for this new party. Have you heard about a guy called Senator Fraser Anning?
Yes.
You haven't heard about Fraser Anning? Oh. What do you think a real Australian is?
Well, it's certainly no one that supports his policies or his agenda.
You should be accepting of people. You should really, really want for people to be happy and be cooperative and be loving towards each other.
Oh, not sure what's wrong with those people. Fraser's been telling me that there's a silent majority out there in Australia that support him. But why is the silent majority being so quiet?
So people don't really know that Anning's starting a party.
All right, you can't rush these things, Tavleen. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. Australia wasn't made a white Christian country in a day. I don't know, maybe it was. I don't really know.
So if people don't know about the party, why should we care what Anning is doing?
Yeah, you might not understand this, Tavleen, but Fraser Anning is standing up for the one group of people that have always been kept silent in the Australian political system. It's the old white man.
Haven't all of our prime ministers but one been old white men though?
Oh, yeah, but see you later, Tavleen.
Okay then. Now let's check in with the rest of Parliament, aka Australia's happiest family. And no, that's not me being sarcastic. Just take a look at the bipartisan love here for retiring MP Christopher Pyne after giving his final speech in Parliament. Along with the hugs though, Mr. Pyne's speech also referenced the genuine family spirit he felt exists in Canberra.
I'd also like to thank my dozens of staff over the years. We all know in this place that they're like a second family to us.
Never a truer word spoken, Chris. We all know that political staff are indeed a second family. But it was actually Barnaby Joyce's first family in the news recently, with his ex-wife Natalie gaining attention for her venture into the world of bodybuilding. Wow, who knew that the secret to weight loss and getting shredded was breaking up with the biggest loser? But while Barnaby is trying to avoid the media spotlight, it seems others in the coalition can't get enough of it, especially our Prime Minister, who's really making an effort to chat, having recently joined both WeChat and Snapchat in an attempt to connect with more voters just before the federal election. It seems like the only place ScoMo hasn't been chatting on is HeartChat. But luckily for the Prime Minister, HeartChat's host, Tom Gleeson, is a fan of his.
So I got Daniel the Gold Logie. I'm going to start campaigning for ScoMo. I'm going to try to get him to win the next election because I like the material so much. I don't want to be here making Shorten jokes. I want 3 years of Shorten jokes.
And for those of you wondering exactly what this infamous ScoMo gear is, we think we have found some.
The Borat tax, which will be put on by the Labor Party, with carbon credits for Kazakhstan, and I know what Borat would think of the Labor Party's policies on emissions reduction, Mr. Speaker. Very nice, very nice.
But while imitation might be the greatest form of flattery, it also seems to be the hallmark of Australian Prime Ministership, with Malcolm Turnbull setting the precedent.
We are winning in the polls. We are. Not the fake polls. Not the fake polls. They're the ones we're not winning in.
Now look, poor Malcolm didn't last as PM for too much longer after his mockery. So it looks like ScoMo could be in a bit of leadership strife too. And if there's one person who's relishing these antics, it's Bill Shorten. And I dare say he's practicing his celebration dance as we speak. But with the sheer amount of action and drama occurring, you'd be forgiven if you mistook this for Married at First Sight's replacement and not federal politics. There is, however, at least some semi-important stuff happening in Parliament, with the federal budget promising an increase in low-income tax offset, billions of dollars for infrastructure, health and small businesses, and more roadworks. All things we should probably care about. But instead, we are distracted by some of the more intriguing allowances in the budget. You know, like the Yellow Crazy Ant Control Program. Yup, $9.2 million is going to be spent on eradicating these acid-spraying critters who have caused chaos to species on both mainland Australia and Christmas Island. And if this is the first time you've had news about Christmas Island without it being related to offshore detention, savor it for all of about 3 seconds. Because it's returned to its old status of prison island. Yup, the island's detention center is being opened. Sorry, that was being closed. Okay, no, that's being opened again. The Immigration Detention Centre was reopened less than 2 months ago after the Parliament passed the Medical Evacuation Law, essentially preventing refugees from coming to Australia's mainland. With $185 million invested in the facility, you would expect that, it would actually be housing people. The current population, though, is 0. And while the facility has not received any detainees, it has more than 150 staff members on the government's payroll. The security contractor responsible for staffing the centre is even promoting working at the detention centre to its employees. And why wouldn't they? It's a 3-month vacation with free accommodation that's personally looked after by landlord Morrison himself.
Weeks in a centre Scott Morrison closed late last year.
Well, it's pretty much as I remember.
With the government only setting $23 million aside for the detention centre next financial year, the doors of the facility may not be open for long. In the meantime, we cross to our Caucasian correspondent, who for reasons I have still not comprehended, feels the need to provide a solution to the detention centre's occupancy issues.
Tavleen, what's my favourite day of the year? Christmas. And what's my favourite detention centre? Christmas Island. Prime Minister Scott Morrison's plan to reopen the facility on Christmas Island for a meagre $185 million is a small price to pay for safety on our shores. But due to political banding, the facility may reclose if the Liberals win the federal election in 2019. If occupants is what's required to keep the doors open, I have a short list here of occupants that can fill the dorms.
Waleed Ali. Top of my list is Waleed Ali. Not only does he have opinions, he actually voices them. Peculiarly, the man of Egyptian descent has a role on primetime Australian television, where he has boundless opportunities to voice his extreme views. Waleed's repulsive and biased interview with our Prime Minister was just one in a line of incidents. Is there an eligibility test for Christmas Island? Because I think Waleed would pass with flying colours. Yasmin Abdel Majid. Yasmin had the audacity to rail on our valiant and heroic soldiers in the most sacred of all days, Anzac Day. The left-wing media made it seem like Yasmin was the victim, but we know the truth.
You said Australia was like dating an abusive guy. What are you doing here? You should leave.
Yeah, I mean, I've been told to leave a number of times, but we know how hard it is to leave, and sometimes you're like, maybe they didn't mean it, and you come back and then you're like, oh, yeah, they're actually dicks.
Deported from the United States, I can think of one well-staffed detention centre that could house her. Nazim Hussain. Nazim thinks he's funny, but is he really? His skit about white babies not being cute was deeply offensive and incited hatred towards innocent Caucasian children. The Sri Lankan comedian should just get back onto a dinghy and straight onto Christmas Island.
Tavleen, you should go there. I think you'll really fit in.
Forget about understanding what she just said. I don't even understand why we still have her on the show. Let's take a breather for a quick debrief. Welcome back. Are you thinking of becoming anti-vax but not sure you're ready to gamble with your children's lives? Well, luckily for you, anti-vaxxers now have a whole new target for their lethal agenda: dogs. Yup, that's right. There is now such a thing as anti-vax dog owners who are choosing not to vaccinate their pets for fear of canine autism. Yes, you heard that correctly. Canine autism. They really are the meme that just keeps on giving. First of all, canine autism is not a thing. Like, not at all. Sydney veterinarian Dr. Sam Kovac told the Daily Telegraph that there are no recorded cases of animals with the condition. But hey, that's just science. Who are we to trust the knowledge of a qualified vet when it comes to animal health? Vaccinating dogs helps prevent diseases like parvovirus, a potentially deadly illness that causes bloody diarrhea, vomiting, and severe weight loss in dogs. If puppies are left unvaccinated, the death rate is more than 80%. But I guess it's up to you to weigh your options. Bloody diarrhea, an extreme mortality rate, or fictitious dog autism. The choice is yours. However, if you're in the alternative medicine business, then this story might be music to your ears. Apparently, anti-vax pet owners are choosing a more holistic approach to pet care. One website states that healthy food, fresh water, the right amount of exercise, and low stress levels are the best disease prevention. After all, Mother Nature knows best. We now have a news segment from Pauline Hansung on the issue.
Autism, ADHD, cancer. Vaccinations are the real threat to Australians today. Not only are these lethal death traps dangerous, but they're completely unnecessary. Modern medicine is killing. Do you remember the good old days of the Black Plague? Back when there was no vaccinations and only the weak got infected and died? Yeah, it's called natural selection. I bet you haven't even heard of it. Why the hell are we trying to fix something that isn't broken in the first place? If we just all went back to nature, none of these terrifying and horrific diseases would even exist. But you know what? It's not only our beautiful offspring that has been poisoned, but it's also our pets who have fallen victim to this vaccine conspiracy. Our beautiful, loving, loyal fur babies are dying because of us. Our trusted source, Dogs Naturally magazine, declared that 66% of all sick dogs become unwell within the 3 months of being vaccinated. Do you know what this means? It means we are willingly killing our dogs, not to mention our wallets. These sleazy vets are charging thousands of dollars for these useless injections. And for what? A few more arthritis-ridden years on this fucking earth? Open your eyes. Open your mind. It's all a money-making scheme. Little Cinnamon here has mercury, aluminium, and formaldehyde flowing through her poor body. She has ADHD and canine autism. These diseases can never be reversed. If you love them, protect them. Never inject them. Never, ever.
As always, please take Pauline's advice with a grain of salt. Or better still, don't take it at all. Now it's time we talk about something light and breezy for a change. Death. Just like winter, it's coming for all of us. And with a new study coming out every day linking just about everything to cancer, it can be hard to keep up sometimes. Apparently even wind turbines can kill us now. Yup, our trusted scientific expert and part-time American President Donald Trump told the National Republican Congressional Committee last week that the noise from the turbines causes cancer. So if you're planning on relying on the renewable energy source, you better go buy yourself a good pair of earmuffs.
If you have a windmill anywhere near your house, congratulations. Your house just went down 75% in value. And they say the noise causes cancer. You told me that one, okay? You know,
We also recommend wearing your earmuffs every time President Trump speaks, just to be on the safe side. But it's not just wind turbines leading us into death's open arms. A study published in the BMC Public Health Journal has described drinking a bottle of wine per week as potentially holding the same cancer risk as smoking up to 10 cigarettes a day. Yup, just one bottle of wine a week described as having the same cancer-causing effects as smoking 5 cigarettes a week for men and 10 cigarettes for women. So you might want to think twice the next time you reach for a bottle of red after a long day at work. Maybe we'll start seeing plain packaged wine and labels saying, "Warning, this bottle contains 8.6 standard drinks and 10 cigarettes." To help us navigate all the food and drinks that are out to kill us, we now cross to Emily for I'm a Millennial, Get Me Out of Here.
Hi, welcome to I'm a Millennial, Get Me Out of Here. Today on the show, we'll be taking a little bit of a health kick, having a look at the ways you can optimize your health, because let's face it, if your health isn't in its prime, how the hell are you going to survive? Now, today I've got some fresh, wild kale that I just picked. It's full of protein, full of vitamin K, the best kind of veg that you want in your diet. Oh, sorry, I've just got a little message. I've just got a notification that actually kale is one of the most pesticide-contaminated vegetables and actually can harm your thyroid hormone synthesis. So we're going to give the kale a miss for today, but we've got plenty of other ways you can help boost your health. Come along. Okay, so we can't have kale, but we can definitely still have coffee. Now, coffee was found to actually decrease chances of catching heart disease, apparently, according to a study in Korea. And it's great as acting as an appetite suppressant. So if you need to shed a few pounds, coffee's the place to go. Sorry, my phone's just gone off. Okay, I'm going to have to take all of that back. So actually, the American Association for Cancer Research found that you actually have an increased chance of getting lung cancer as a coffee drinker. So we might skip the coffee for today as well, but you know, all this conflicting information is really stressing me out. I just need a glass of... You know what? Actually, a glass of wine is exactly what you need because it contains chemicals in it that decrease your chances of some types of cancer and vision loss. So, I guess we have finally found our health. Oh my god, this bloody phone. Okay, it turns out I'm wrong once again. Researchers found that drinking wine is the equivalent of having 10 cigarettes a day and increases your chances of cancer. You know what? With facts like these, you might as well start taking up smoking because, to be frank, smoking is actually good for you. Yeah, we finally found our new health benefit because a study's found that long-term smokers actually have a decreased chance of Parkinson's disease. So, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, light up. About 12. Well, who am I kidding? We all know smoking causes cancer. Jesus Christ. You know what, I guess the lesson here, folks, is at the end of the day, anything and everything's gonna kill you, so just enjoy the ride.
Thanks for that, Emily. Eternally optimistic as always. We are off to a quick break, so for those of you who miraculously survive it, we'll see you on the other side. Now we turn our attention to a threat seeking to undermine an entire Australian industry, the confectionery crisis. Yup, while the whole world's been engrossed with Candy Crush, an actual sugary saga has developed, with some of the most iconic Aussie treats under siege. Take Cadbury for example. Just a couple of months ago, it announced that dairy milk blocks were going to shrink from 200 to 180 grams, marking the second size reduction in the past 5 years. But that's not the only problem chocolates had of late, as it officially became a member of Pauline Hanson's extensive list of enemies in 2017. Let's let the senator explain in what's possibly the worst infomercial ever made.
Go and buy some non-halal Easter eggs and chocolate and have a happy Easter, everyone.
And while Pauline might have some belief that halal certified chocolate is the biggest threat to having a safe Easter, evidence would suggest otherwise.
And the Australian government agency that tracks all financial transactions in and out of Australia say they've found no evidence of any link between halal certification organisations and terrorism.
What a surprise! Chocolate doesn't cause terrorism? But our beloved sweet snacks have not only had to put up with attacks from within Australia, as biosecurity has been inundated with foreign threats such as these scorpion lollipops. Look, lolly sabotage is a serious issue. So that's why we have sent not one but 2 reporters to investigate this confectionery chaos. First, we go to our HR manager Denise for word on a chocolate-related rumour.
This is Denise, the Struggles Human Resource Manager, reporting live from Monash University's local Coles to address the rumour that Cadbury is changing the name Easter egg to gesture egg, like you want to give Tavleen a hug and, it's a nice gesture. And so people think that maybe this change would lead to more inclusion in our local community. And I, for one, think that this is a change that absolutely needs to happen, especially considering that Easter eggs are now halal certified, which means that any minority, including Muslims and Jews, can celebrate this Christian festival that has absolutely nothing to do with them. Camera guy, I just wanted to check that you're okay. You look a little bit triggered by this issue. Are you all right? Are you okay? We can stop filming. We can talk about it. No, you're okay? Okay. I'm here with concerned Monash University student Callum. Callum, can you tell me, how do you feel about Cadbury possibly changing the name from Easter egg to gesture eggs?
Does it really matter?
Look, it matters in terms of, it'll provide so much more inclusion for our different communities.
Sure.
Well, look, all I think that needs to happen now is some kosher bacon-flavoured chocolate eggs and the whole community will be happy. But of course, if you're feeling triggered by this issue, please feel free to contact the Struggle Studios and ask for Denise and we can talk about it. Back to you.
Thanks, Denise. And now for more on how Aussie sweets are faring internationally, we head to our miscellaneous correspondent, Peter.
Sweden and Australia are facing an imminent diplomatic crisis. The nations have enjoyed an amicable relationship over the years, but it looks like times are changing. In the Swedish city of Malmö, a new exhibition has recently opened, the Disgusting Food Museum. The museum contains 80 unpalatable foods from all corners of the world. Frustrated by floundering abasales and poor-performing Australian-based IKEA stores, like this one behind me in Springvale, the Swedes have decided to take this opportunity to launch an assault on the Australian way of life. The museum, which has such treats as fruit bat soup from Southeast Asia, frog smoothies from Peru, and kasuvazu, an Italian variety of maggot-infested cheese, has decided to include several Aussie staples.
There would be no disgusting food museum without Vegemite.
The Swedes, who are clearly jealous of our climate and beaches, attempted to antagonise the Australian public by including our beloved witchetty grubs and Vegemite. When that didn't work, they decided to push the limits by attacking the humble musk stick.
We actually give samples of these at the museum and they taste like chewing on a urine-infested mattress.
The delicious treat is one of Australia's most iconic snacks, Tavleen. So to stand for our national pride, we are encouraging all viewers to send a message of defiance to our Scandinavian enemies.
Good on you, Peter. Always love a bit of direct action. On that note, we are done for another week. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and support the motion to censor everything our Caucasian correspondent and Pauline Hansung have ever said in the comments below. Until we are back in your lives again though, the struggle, it's real.